What's up everyone? In today's video I'm going to talk about the Tama Rhythm Watch RW200. Not a new item at all, but there's not many reviews online, so I thought I'd go over what I think are some of the pros and cons and whether you should buy it. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about build quality. Now, I've already had this for maybe 6 or 7 months, and I've done quite a few shows and quite a few gigs with it already, and I can certainly say that the build quality is durable and robust, and it's not going to get beaten up in the back of your van or in your gig bag. And it does come with this nice little case just to add a little bit of extra protection. It's not going to stop it getting any dinks or anything, but overall it's pretty solid. I've had it on stage, I've dropped it a few times, and it's still going strong, so that's an up first of all. The second thing that I think is a massive pro for this item is that you can program up to 30 different clicks. So for example, I recently did a set with the band. I was depping for them, and they play their entire set to a click, so obviously everything's at different tempos. You might have different time signatures, and you have the ability from 1 to 30 to set not only the tempo, but the way you're hearing the subdivision, the type of click that you're hearing. So that is super helpful. So basically what I did was, on my set list next to each song, I wrote down what number that was on the click track. Straight to it, boom, so simple, so easy, loved that. So that's another up from me. Leading on from that last point, another thing that I think is great about this item is that you have the option to plug in a foot switch. Now, you can get foot switches quite cheap that are compatible. I use this Boss one, and basically that just allows you to start and stop the metronome using your foot. So there might be times when you've got a song that ends and you've got to slow down, and that you're going to get put off if you've got your click doing this and you're trying to slow down and do that big epic ending. All you have to do, boom, tap it with your foot and it stops, and you can do that time ramp as smooth as you want. So that is awesome. I loved that feature. Another pro for this item is it comes with the option to have it mounted. So I don't believe the little mounting bracket comes with the item when you buy it, but you buy it separately, and I would highly recommend doing that, because what I do is I attach it to this little clamp I have, and then that clamp goes onto either my hi-hat stand or the stand that my mixer sits on for my in-ear monitors, and that way you have it easily to hand, or you can place it where it's suitable and have your foot switch. So yeah, that's really cool. I like the fact that you can do that. That's pretty decent. This next feature I found super helpful. So with a lot of metronomes, you're going to always hear the accent on whatever the beat 1 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which isn't always helpful, because you may have a song where maybe you have a bar where you change time signature, or you know, there might be a time where that accent could end up in the wrong place due to the composition of your song that you're playing. So with this, it was awesome. I was able to just set it up so there's no accents and I'm just hearing quarter notes the whole time, which was super good, because like I say, there were songs I was playing recently with that band where you'd have maybe like a bar of 3 at the end of a section of 4, so that could be nasty if you end up playing with the click accent in the wrong beat, and you don't want that. So another up, that was awesome. This next feature isn't one that I've personally used, but I can see why it might come in handy for some people, whether you might be playing in a pit, or you might be, you know, just someone who's looking for a reference point before they actually start their song, not to necessarily play the entire track to a click. So there's an option where you can set your tempo, and then once you press play, the click disappears after 8 bars, so you get a decent amount of time to really start feeling that tempo, and then it's gone and you're sort of left to your own devices. Now, as I said, I don't really have a need for this, and that's not something I'm going to use, but I can see why it'd be super helpful, so I thought I'd put that on the pro list because I think that's actually pretty cool. So going back to just the main features of the metronome itself. Now, you do have the option to tap tempo, which is great. That's something that's always helpful, because you could be using a metronome at a dep gig and you need to just come up with the tempo on the fly, or, you know, there's loads of reasons why you might need a tap tempo. But you also have the option of the little wheel on there as well. So, you know, if you start playing a song and you think, oh, this is just a little bit too slow, what you can do is just with one hand wheel it up a little bit, a few BPM, and it will just naturally ramp it up to that tempo for you. Unlike the previous model where I believe if you changed the tempo, as soon as it changed it would go back to beat 1 again, which it doesn't make sense. So that's a really cool feature, I like that, so awesome. Finally, on my pro list for the Tama Rhythm Watch is the fact that you can run it either from a 9-volt battery or from 9-volt mains. So, you know, these power supplies are something that everyone has in a band, whether it's your guitarist or even you as your drummer. You know, it's good that you have both options because you can't really get caught up then by not having the right lead to plug it in or the battery's dead. So personally, I always play with it plugged into the mains because I'd hate for the battery to run out mid-show. That would be super orcs. You don't want that happening because then you might throw everything off. In terms of the cons for this item, I don't really have many, I'll be really honest. I really do rate this product, but it bugs me that there's only 2 different sound options for when you set your click. So I'll play you some examples of what the 2 sounds are now. As you can hear, you know, those are both perfectly fine and they're okay for me, but I know some drummers who are very picky about what sort of sound they like for their metronome. So if I could have any feedback for the product, it would maybe be just, you know, add a few extra sounds that people can choose for the sound of their click. The only other con I actually have is a bit sort of a nitpicky thing, but I don't really like the placement of where the power supply goes. I kind of wish it was at the back of the item, because what happens is when you set this up, you've got the leads coming out of one side and then the other side, and it's taken up more real estate than it needs to, especially if you mount it to your hi-hat stand like I do. Yeah, that's a little bit of an annoyance, but it's not the end of the world. That really is the only negatives I have to say about the item, to be honest. Overall then, I think this product is pretty awesome. I'd highly recommend it to you if you're looking for a metronome, whether it's for gigs or for the studio or for teaching. This thing can do everything you need it to do for those things. So make sure to try and pick one up. I think they're about £70 at the moment, so that's about $90 to $95 US. And it's a good investment. I'm super happy I got mine. And I want to say as well, before someone comments down below, this isn't a sponsored video. Tama aren't paying me to say this at all. I just thought I'd review a great product for you. And it's the first review I've done. So if you want to see another one, make sure to like the video and let me know in the comments that you want to see more. And yeah, one way you can help me is by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. That way, if you have enjoyed what you've seen, you'll be able to see my next video as well and see what I'm up to. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you found the review useful. And until next time, whatever you're doing today, go out and smash it. Just can't get this outro right. 4 takes this is done. This is how it words. I can't even...